Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're welcome to Money Travels and Tour session. Yeah, this is Daudo Akemi Joseph. Yeah, I'm also a team member of Money Travels and Tour. So now I'll be talking about what to do to get my visa approved. So what do I need to do to get my visa approved? So there are a lot of things to do. There are a lot of factors to put together in order to get your visa approved. So now, um, based on a poll that was conducted on our WhatsApp platform, namely under the approval, which we have for the two approval already. And we have it here that we should talk about what to do to get my visa approved. So there are a lot of things to do in order to get your visa approved. So what are those things? What are those factors you need to put together in order to get your visa approved? Yeah, we can't talk about all factors, so we have to cut the session short. So I think this session would only cover for about 10 minutes. So we don't want to waste or bore you with our videos. So just have to talk about what to do to get your visa approved. So this would be the part one. So you should also watch out for the part two. Now, quickly, I want to start off with what to do to get your visa approved. Probably you've been denied before. You've been denied once, twice, or four times. That's not a barrier. You understand? So now I want you to understand that every visa applicant is a bad visa applicant. You have to understand the fact that every visa applicant is a bad visa applicant, or else you push yourself from the negative to the positive. So what are those things you need to put together in order to push yourself from the negative to the positive? So now there are three chain factors you need to put together in order to get your visa approved. Now the first is your DS-160, the second is your I-20, and the third is your transcript. Now, what is transcript? What am I talking about when I mean transcript? Your transcript is actually about what you tell the consular officer. Now, talking about what you tell the consular officer, it must be in line with your resume. So, what is resume? So, your resume is actually your DS-160. Now, go to the comment section and type resume, RESUME. Go to the comment section and type resume. So now, how do I bring my resume to portray the strengths in my application? What do I really need to do in order to get my visa approved? So now, you need to know the strengths of your application. So welcome back. We're back again. So thank you for staying with us, and thank you for watching through. Now you have to stick to this video in order to know what to do to get your visa approved. So now the first thing you need to do is to get the strength of your application. Now you need to know the strength of your application. Probably you have a travel history, you have a business back home, you have a family who will be falling back to when you finish this course of study. Probably you have a professional or a non-governmental organization which you are into, or probably you are a signatory to that organization. So it proves more of home ties. Now, whenever you're going for a non-immigrant visa, you need to satisfy the fact that you have to go to the US and you have to come back. Going to the US and coming back is the purpose of the interview. So now, whatever it is you'll be doing, you have to satisfy the fact that you have to go to the US and you have to come back. Now, talking about the I-20s, how do I-20s determine my approval? Yeah, talking about the I-20s, you have to go through your I-20. You have to understand the strength in your application. Probably you have a funding. It says a lot about your application. Now, if you have a funding, probably you have an 80% funding, you have an 100% funding, or probably there's a remarks that states you coming to the US is mandatory. Yeah, a lot of schools do that. They actually impute a remark that states what the strength of your application really is. So now it do matters if you know about your I-20. So whenever you get your I-20, don't just look through the financials to know if you were given the funding or not. You have to understand your I-20s. You have to understand your sponsorship. You have to understand the strength of your application. Now, if you've actually been a traveler, meaning you have a travel history, then that's the strength of an application. It means you've gone to a foreign country in which you came back to your home country. So that is a strength in your application. So now talking about other strengths in your application, probably you have a family business, probably your dad is sponsoring you and he has a company in which you'll be coming back to run the company. So those are the things you need to understand whenever you're going for your visa interview. Now you going to the consular officer. Let's take for example, a consular officer asks you, why did you choose to study in the US? Now let's say you're going for a master's degree in mechanical engineering. So you just have to tell them, yeah, basically I choose to pursue a master's degree in mechanical engineering. I choose to pursue a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. I choose to pursue a doctorate degree in mechanical engineering with a concentration. You have to understand the power of your I-20s. Probably you have a concentration on your I-20s that states that you are going for a major in thermodynamics, a major in robotics, a major in analytical systems. So those are the things you need to note whenever you're going for your visa interview. You need to note your strengths, you need to know your concentration on your I-20. Then you link it up to your DS-160. So after linking it up with the DS-160, you can't tell me you studied mechanical engineering and you've been working as a financial analyst. It is not possible. So those are the things, those are the factors the consular officer always look into. So you have to measure those factors and turn them into strength. Now I want you to understand the fact that your first attempt and your first approach to questions during your visa interview matters the most. So that is how you can actually take charge of your interview. Now talking about the first question is actually the purpose of travel. On your I-20s, you have it divided into 3 sections. Now, the first section on your I-20s is your purpose of travel. The second question on your I-20 is your school information. You need to know why you're going to that school. You need to know where the school is located in. You need to know basic information about your school, the prestigiousness of your department in that school, what the difference of the course other than other schools. Now, if you've been asked the question of why this school, now you should tell them probably you are a prestigious or you're a bona fide student who actually applied to 4 other schools. Now, you shouldn't tell them you were denied in one of those schools. No. Now, as a good student, you shouldn't be denied. There must be a reason why you were denied in those schools. So as a bona fide student, you need not to be denied in other schools. And as probably you're a traditional, non-traditional student, you have to pick up 1 or 2 schools and streamline your research to a specific school. So that's another chapter or another topic entirely. So let's stick to what to do to get your visa approved. So now, talking about what to do to get your visa approved, after in which you've actually taken the strength of your application, now you need to bank on the strength of your application. Now, if the strength of your application is your hometown, you need to bank on it. So whenever they ask you the question, you're going there to argue your case. You're not going there to wait for them to ask you a question. So it wouldn't be you looking at a dormant. You understand? Mind you, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but I want you to understand the basics of the strength of your application. So now, after thinking about the strength, let's say your strength is your travel history. Now you've been asked the question under the section of purpose of travel. Probably, why did you choose to study in the US? Now you can tell them, as a bona fide student who applied to 3 schools and who have traveled out of the country for probably this or that. You understand? If it is true vacation, if you had your master's degree in the UK and you want to go to the US for your doctorate degree, that is a strength in your application. You can as well tell them, as a master's student who studied environmental technology in the UK, I choose to go to the US in order to get XYZ skills. You need to be specific. You don't have to go there with generics. You don't tell them, oh, US is actually the most beautiful community when it comes to education. You don't do that. So you just have to stick to the purpose of travel, your personal purpose of travel. Never mind, and I don't want you to also forget the fact that your I-20 carries your information already, while your resume, which is your DS-160, talks about you. They know you're going to the US. They know you're going to XYZ school. They know you are having a master's degree in XYZ course. All they want to know is your intention of traveling. So you have to sell your intention to them that you're not going to the US as an immigrant, you're going to the US to pursue a master's degree. So what do you need to do to get your visa approved? Now, talking about your DS-160, your DS-160 carries your information. Your DS-160 is just like, okay, let's use an analogy. Your DS-160 is just like a curriculum vitae, namely CV. Your CV talks about your personality. Your CV talks about personality. Now, talking about your personality, the CV carries information about you. So now, you as an employee who is going to an employer to get employed. So now what you need to do is to submit a CV alongside your qualifications. So now you've done that to the school. So now the next thing for you to do is submit a CV to the consular officer, to the US non-immigration. So now after doing that, what you feel in your DS-160 is very important. You don't tell them, oh, I'm a bad applicant on your DS-160 and you expect them to approve you. Now you should make sure your study progress, I'm talking about your study progression, is in line with what you're going to study. You can't tell me you're a mechanical engineer and you've been working as a financial analyst. It doesn't speak about you. So you have to make sure your study progression is in line with what you're going to study in the US. Now lastly, your financials. I'm going to talk about your financials real quickly. Now talking about your financials, you have to really scrutinize your financials. You need to know who's going to pay for your study, what your sponsorship does, the occupation and role. You have to know what he earns on a monthly and yearly basis. Now, a lot of visa applicants will do the mistake of saying, oh, probably my sponsor is a CEO, and they tell you, oh, he earns about 30 million naira, while the cost of study is about 26 million. That's a red flag because you're not portraying that your sponsor is actually buoyant enough to take the cost of your attendance. So now you need to understand your financials very well, and also you need to understand the factors of hometown. That's the most important. You need to understand the factors of hometown. You can't tell me your brother went to the US as a student or as a visitor, as a tourist, and he stayed there or he has overstayed, and they demonstrate to the consular officer that probably when you get to the US, you'll be more focused other than your relatives. So I want you to streamline and go back to the video, read and watch through everything you've had and listened today. And I want you to work on that and drop your questions on the comment section. And on the next video, I would answer all questions before commencing the content through on the session. Thank you so much. And don't forget to like, comment, and share. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, you have to do that by clicking the subscribe button and also click the bell button in order to be notified whenever I drop a new video. Thank you very much.